Hello, welcome to Dungeons Dwellers Podcast. We're reviewing the second Friday the 13th movie right now. It's directed by Steve Miner, which I'm pretty sure he's directed Halloween movies as well. Cause didn't he direct either like the fourth or sixth one? I don't know. I remember watching a Halloween movie and seeing his name. But yeah, it's directed by Steve Miner. The budget for this movie was 1,250,000, and it only made like 21 million, which is 0.70, which is still obviously that's they made that's a profit, but they didn't make as much as the first movie, which made almost 60 million. And it stars Alice from the first movie, makes a cameo, and then is spoiler alert, killed right away. And this movie mostly stars Jeannie, portrayed by Amy Steele. You got John Furey as Paul. Betsy Palmer shows up again as Mrs. Voorhees. You got Kristen Baker as Terry, who's like the hottest chick in the movie. She's like a fitness babe kind of girl, and she has this pet dog named Muffin, who, if I'm not mistaken, is like a long hair kind of Shih Tzu, and has like a little bow in her hair, which looks super cute. And you got Stuart Charno as Ted. Um, Crazy Ralph is back as Walt Gurney. You got Marta Kober as Sandra, Tom McBride as Mark. There's a shitload of people in this movie. Bill Randolph as Jeff, Lauren Marie as Taylor as Vicky, Russell Todd as Scott, and that's about it. And you got like Steve Dash as Jason's stunt double, which people like to obsess over the stunt doubles in these movies for whatever reason. Yeah, so I was a little pissed off when watching this movie, but I'll get into the story. The story is basically Camp Crystal Lake is closed and it's condemned, but whoever I don't know, maybe it was like the Tom character, who's like the main camp counselor. His name was Tom, right? No, it's Paul. Sorry, Paul, played by John Fury. They reopened the camp, not like a few minutes walk away from the original camp, which is retarded. This movie is supposed to take place 5 years after the events of the first movie, even though this movie was shot like 1 year later and it's rated R. The first movie was rated unrated. Yeah, so people obviously didn't learn from the first movie, the events of the first movie, even though it's well known that the survivor of the first movie went missing after 2 months of the events of the events of Friday the 13th. But despite that, I guess they just said fuck it. let's start up a new summer camp, which I don't even know what the name of this new summer camp is, right? Oh, sorry, it's called Packanack Lodge. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so this movie, they have like a shitload of people. They have the two these two rednecky characters. They got like a wheelchair guy. They got the comedian kind of character played by Stuart Charno, who as Ted, who, like I mentioned, was in an episode of X-Files where he played this crazy psychic killer who was going around killing other psychics. Which, if you haven't seen that episode of X-Files, it was a really cool episode of X-Files. You had Peter Boyle from everybody loves Raymond in that movie, which he was in a movie, a mafia movie called Crazy Joe with Rip Torn, which was pretty good if you haven't seen it. But that was in the 70s. Yeah, so like I originally wasn't going to review this movie because I was pissed off because the dog Muffin, which is a Shih Tzu, and I love Shih Tzus even though I don't own a Shih Tzu, but like there a lot of my extended family have owned Shih Tzus, and I grew up a lot with Shih Tzus. Even my neighbors to the right of me have 2 Shih Tzus. My neighbor to the left of me is a Shih Tzu. Like, Shih Tzus are a very popular dog breed in my town or whatever. I don't know if it is in other places, but it's a very popular dog breed around here, right? So the dog, which I don't know why you would just let your dog wander around the woods by herself when in the beginning of the movie the guy Paul like just straight up tells me, hey, this is bear country, so you gotta watch out for fucking bears. Bears are dangerous. And what happens, it implies that Jason killed the dog, which Jason's the villain in this movie. He doesn't have his iconic hockey mask. I think he only gets it in like either the 3rd or 4th movie. I don't remember. I haven't I've watched like random Friday the 13th movies over the years, but he has like this sack over his head, and where he just has one eye hole. For some reason, I guess it's to hide the fact that he's like deformed, and his eyes are like not aligned. Though in the sequels, they forget that. So like in the sequels, well, no, they don't forget that. It's just that when he has his hockey mask on, his eyes will be aligned, and then when the hockey mask comes off, then one will be like like 2 centimeters down from the other one. Why they do that? They do that. I don't fucking know, but whatever. Yeah. So I was really pissed off because it implied that Jason killed the fucking dog, and then like 2 people find the corpse of a dog that's mangled the shit. Looks like it's been killed by a wild animal, and it also looks exactly like the Shih Tzu Muffin. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling her Molly. Yeah, but I did not like that at all. And then at the end, like Muffin shows up, which we don't know if Muffin lived at the very end, because like at the very end, Jason attacks, and you get to see him like without the mask on, and like he's obviously deformed, and he has some like long hair going. Yeah. So I thought the kills in the movie again were pretty cool. The characters this time around were a lot better, a lot more likable. The comedic relief character was not as annoying as the first movie. He's actually pretty funny. Most of the time you see him playing on this, like when he's not goofing around, he's like playing on this, like I thought it was a Game Boy, then I remind myself, oh yeah, they didn't have Game Boys in like 1980. That came around like what, like mid 80s or late 80s. But yeah, it turns out like it's like a Pong machine. So like obviously as a video game guy, a fan of retro video games, I'm kind of interested in like shit like that. Yeah, again, this movie, you gotta suspend some disbelief because it's kind of it is kind of retarded that they condemn Camp Crystal Lake, right? So like no more people get killed in town, right? No more people are getting murdered in that area, right? And they just let people just set up a new camp, like not even like 5 minutes away from the first one. It's like, dude, what the fuck? But whatever, right? And like, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just like, what can you do? I guess. Yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't like this movie as much. Though I thought Jason it was nice to see finally Jason and like his first movie. which usually like I'm used to Jason with the hockey mask. He doesn't like. I think he kills one person with. He kills like maybe one or two people with machete, but he mostly just kills people with whatever he has handy, right? And the horror movie special effects in the movie I thought were good as well, just as good as the first one. Though obviously there are times where you see a dead body and it looks very rubbery, and like the prosthetics look very rubbery. I think it's just that these movies, like, they didn't know, like, they were counting on the film grain, right? They didn't know, hey, in the future we're gonna have like crystal clear, like, um, renders of movies, right? And also I should mention, like, there's a lot of sleaze in this movie. There's way more nudity in this movie than the first one. Um, there's even like a funny scene where you see a girl, like, she's about to have sex with the cripple guy, cause and like she puts like perfume on, and then she sprays it down her face. Which I'm like, what the fuck? Didn't the guy tell you, hey, girls, don't put perfume on, like the bears are gonna get you? And what immediately happens? Jason kills her. Yeah. Like, and also a lot of the girls don't wear bras in the movie, and there's this, what you know one thing about the movie that I thought did suck is that there's this girl. She's kind of a butterfly. I'm talking about Marta Kober as Sandra. She has like really big boobs in the movie, and I'm like, oh, are we gonna see those big boobs? Because mostly you watch these 80s slasher movies, the girls are like hardly have any boobs, or like a lot of the time they're flat. So I'm like, oh, are we gonna see some big titties in this movie? And the answer is, no. Despite the fact that there is a sex scene. I don't know. Maybe she was like, they found out after they hired her that she was like 17 or some shit. And that's why they couldn't show it. Which I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure that a lot of that shit happened. But yeah, this movie, I would say it's good. It's definitely worth watching. Remind me a lot of The Burning, which is obviously a famous Friday the 13th ripoff. That's a Harvey Weinstein produced movie, and like Jason Alexander's in it. So if you want to watch like a good Friday the 13th ripoff movie, The Burning is a very good movie. This movie, I thought it was good as well. I'm giving it the same review, same rating as the last movie, at 6 out of 10. I would have rated it less if they had killed the fucking Shih Tzu in the movie, which well, I guess they did kill a Shih Tzu, just not the one that we thought it was. But whatever. All right, peace.